Sweet mama. Aw yeah. Back to streaming, baby. Huh. So. Let's pack that away real quick. We'll put our paint.net up. And I think we're missing somebody here. Somebody's missing. There he is. That's our lad. Alright, so we get situated here. Oh yeah, I'm streaming again. Yep, Phil Fish, that's me. Phil frickin' Fish. That is me. Was that Terraria? Yeah, that was beta footage of Terraria. Let's see. I think the music's a little too loud. A little too loud. There we go. That's better. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to the stream. I wanted to feature everyone's art today. I wanted to show everybody's art and what I thought about it. The stream might be on the shorter side compared to last time, but since I'm kind of alone here, but I wanted to do like an appreciation thread for, you know, everybody's artwork and what everyone did. So as long as your artwork was on the art competition thread on our Discord, I will show it. I wanted to kind of go through them all and really like talk about them. I don't know if everyone's here, but you know, if you are here, let's talk about your art, you know? For those that are not here, we can speculate what they were going through, what they wanted to do. However, with that out of the way, I wanted to say hi to everyone. When was the last time I streamed? That was probably a week and a half ago. So it was like a week and a half ago was our last stream. It was not that long ago. What we did was we were doing like sort of, yeah, I think you did miss it. I would have remembered if you said Phil. I would have remembered right away. But shotgun mimic. But I would say yeah, we did a stream. You could probably look at it in the VODs. I want to upload that to YouTube, by the way, so I should probably do that once the stream's over. I wanted to upload that to YouTube, but there is a VOD of our last stream, so if you want to check that out, feel free. I mean, that was a pretty big stream, and I mean, last time we talked, we didn't even have a trailer or anything either. So if you look up, man, Critical, you might be behind on a lot of stuff, but yeah, yeah, I'm glad the neighbors stopped being loud too. But all right, let's get into this. I know there's a bit of a stream delay here. I know there's a tiny bit of a stream delay, but wanted to get into this and really show you guys what everyone's been up to. Let's see, we got Tech Stacks here. Welcome, Tech Stack. This was a submission by Enheave. You'll have to correct me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong or if I'm saying it incorrectly. But Enheave posted this, which I thought was really cool. We got pixel art, a high-res version, and a little bit of a backstory, which I really liked. I really liked seeing all the different emotes that this character had. Thought that was really cool. Snowfly by Enheave. Half snow, half clouds. A little bit of cuteness. When attacked, he changes his appearance to scare away enemies. He doesn't support the fight, but prefers to avoid it or just sleep. I like this one because it's more of like a passive sort of pet, which was sort of the theme I wanted to go for with some of these follower companions that we had in the game. last you remember, I was working on art. Yeah, you. I mean, here I'll link the YouTube video. Give me a second here. We had. Let's see. Give me a second. If you go on YouTube right now, you could probably find it pretty easily. If you look up Below the Stone Kickstarter trailer, it has in parentheses updated. But I'll link it. Give me a second. I'll link it to you. Here you go. Hello, Enheave. We're showing your artwork. If you don't mind. I was reading it out and talking about your character we had here. Yeah, that's our trailer for a game. You'll have to tell me what you think. We're on Steam right now, so if you want, you can wishlist us. It's Below the Stone on Steam. And if you have a Discord, I would suggest joining our Discord, because that's like our main hub right now. Our Discord and our Twitter, which you can see the links are below the stream right now. But yeah, Snowfly here. I really like this one just because it felt like it followed all the exact, like, not only did you do pixel art, but you went out of your way and you did like a high-res version of your character, which I thought was cool, and a backstory, like a little bit of detail here, which I really liked. This really encompassed like everything we would have wanted for the art competition, and you went out of your way and over the top to accomplish that, which I really appreciated. And I think I wanted to leave this for later, but I actually wanted to work with everyone on our Discord that submitted art, and I wanted to work with every single one of you who posted art and add something that you want into the game, because I know you guys put some quite a bit of effort into making your pieces. So I wanted to actually kind of get a one-on-one gauge with every single one of you submitted, and actually involve you a little bit in the development process for every single person who submitted art. So that would include a companion or whatever. What we might include might not always be a companion, but we generally wanted to talk with everyone and actually get a one-on-one, a thank you to everyone who submitted art, and maybe involve you in a bit of behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, it's happening, boys. Mimic Girls. You'll have to see. You have to wait for later in the stream. Classic mimics are the best. Oh yeah, the chompy chomp kind of mimics. The chompy chomp mimics. See if we can pull up his sprite sheet real quick. Oh, your submission is on the list here to be shown. So, see, this is why you should have put more effort into it, because I'm going to embarrass you in front of everyone now. I'm kidding. You don't have to worry. But I am showing it. You are going to be revealed to the whole world what you've made, what your creation was. Here's our chompy chomp mimic in slow-mo and at regular speed. Every second I get, every chance I get. Yep. I like that tongue. Yeah. That tongue action. I think everyone loves the tongue action that this mimic gives. I think everyone likes the mimic. The only problem is you only see the mimic every so often. It's not like this, it's not like a common enemy. It's like a once you open a chest kind of thing, there's like a 5 or 10% chance that it happens. So you're not going to see it very often. We do have a couple Mimic submissions though. Not only a Mimic box, but also a Mimic girl, which we'll get to. We're going to get to that in a moment. But yeah, I like Snowfly here because, again, we got the emotes here. That was really cute. All the different emotions. Pixel art and high res. Thought that was awesome. Thank you, Enhi, for your submission here. Our next post, let's scroll down a bit. This is by Tinky. Tinky, our boy. Wonder if Tinky's in the chat. But Tinky posted this nightmarish horror. And it actually did scare me a little bit. It made me think of something that would run at you in the dark at like 50 miles an hour. No, I think there might be a hint that the chest is a Mimic, but right now I think it's going to be like completely, you won't know until you open it. At least that's the idea, that you won't know until you open the chest. So it'll be a real shock. So Tinky submitted this, which was another pet submission. He was going for a rock monster that would appear randomly. So it would look like a rock. It would be huddled down, and then when you get close to it, or whenever I guess when you summon it, its head would pop out and 4 legs would pop out like this, like a spook monster. Oh yeah, you might have to refresh. There you go. Now you get the full screen. You get to see the whole thing. Oh, we're on the big screen now. Nice. So anyway, yeah, there's this. I thought this one was a really cool submission from Tinky. And he said the description here was, it looks like a stone, but when you get too close, it pops out like a very strong and fast enemy. I thought that one was really cool. Having something that was like a stealth enemy, that would be interesting. And that's something we'd probably want too. You rock. So the next submission here was actually a GIF originally. Unfortunately on Paint we can't show GIFs, but this was a really awesome submission. If you scroll up in the art competition, this was by @AJ, and it was called Mysterious Jellyfish. It was a GIF before, which was crazy. I think it was like a 3-frame kind of loop from the jellyfish, where he'd like kind of look like he's swimming in the air. I thought that one was really cool. He said, here's the description. He said, it feeds on those that perished while seeking treasures in the mines, absorbing traits from remaining treasures found on the fallen, affecting its color and abilities. Maybe someone dropped a levitation potion. No one knows exactly how it left the waters and started to fly. So he showed this with a GIF. Again, really awesome. And it was sort of like a floating jellyfish that would kind of like glow, and while you were in the caves, it would kind of give off a light. I thought that was really, really cool. Yeah, all the stuff by It's AJ was really cool. Like everything he's posted is like GIFs and stuff, so that was definitely like, he put a lot of effort into that. He even animated the dwarf too. Like I didn't give him the sprite for the animated dwarf, he just made it. That was really cool. He made the little T-Rex pet, and he animated that, and he animated the dwarf character without me even giving him the dwarf character that was animated. Like he just did it on his own. I thought that was really cool. Caught me by surprise. So there was that submission by It's AJ. There was another one later on, but I kind of want to spread them out a tiny bit. This is Fairly's creation here. Now he made a GIF, which I thought was cool. He made a three Now, here's the emotes that were reacted. There was a give me a second. Let me put the music back on. So there were a couple emotes that was on Fairly's post here. There is a joy emote, a joyous emote, a blush emote, right? One blush emote, a cat. I suppose the cat was because it had 2 ears. 2 ears because it's a cat. We had 2 thumbs up. 2 entire thumbs up. So we had 2 people who really liked this one. 2 people who... One person who blushed. 2 thumbs up. A cat. And strangely enough, we had a fork and a knife. Which just confused me. I don't know what that was about. But that was a reaction by anyone. Anyone on our Discord put a fork and a knife as a reaction to this jelly. So mine had so much lore. So I can read the lore right now because it was so cute you could eat it right up. Yep, that makes sense. Let's see. The lore behind this character, behind this little squishy fella. He had a GIF too, which I thought was really cool. I mentioned that already, but it was like in GIF form. His name is Sayandor. He is crafted from Will-O-Wisp from the Dwarven underworld, meaning like the Hell Dimension or whatever, right? Like ghosts. So you collect Will-O-Wisps and create this thing. What appears to be a smile on its face is actually a face drawn on him by the lost souls of monsters that forever wander the mines of oblivion. He is called a blue blessing to the dwarves, as if the dwarves find him, they have lost their way and given a second chance by Sayandor, and he will lead the dwarves to safety. So it's almost like this creature is like almost like an omnipresent spirit. It's almost like a guiding spirit down into the caves. Into your 2 submissions. I think the Fortnite girl, the pixel art Fortnite girl. I did not show that as a submission. Unfortunately, that one was redacted due to copyright claim. So I was unable to show that. But I will continue down the list of all of our different posts. Our next one was by Why Not, which was this one. He said, "Here's my entry, the mole of the insatiable appetite for ores, the ore fiend." Which he made like 8 different varieties of this one, which I thought was awesome. He actually went in and recolored them. I think my favorite run of these is probably these ones because their colors are more mute. But I thought this was kind of cool. Like, I'm guessing what he was trying to do here was like, depending on what ores they ate, they would like change the color of the character itself, like parts of the character, right? There's no copyright. She's an original character. I totally didn't PNG import to Aseprite and then scale it down way too much. oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I have to really make sure I'm aware of that. Okay, so there you go. I think you can see it now. So I think these 3 are my favorite right here. But I think what he's going for is he was going for like a sort of like, now this is just me speculating, but Why Not, I think, was going for like a, depending on what ores they ate, it would change the color of the parts of the mole, right? And of course, it's underground. There needs to be moles, right? Star-nosed moles. That just makes sense. So, yep. Yeah, I think a mole would be a good idea for a character. Even if it was just a humanoid mole. I mean, we have rat men. That would just make sense. So mole men might make sense. Like Hans Mole Man. Hans Mole Man. My favorite character. Oh, we gotta center it. He's just drilling into Bob Ross's head now. There we go. That's better. Hans Mole Man. The second you thought Hans Mole Man. Yep. Yep. It's the thing I think of too when I think of Mole Men. My thoughts immediately go to this. Now we're making some cursed imagery. That is very cursed. I don't wanna look at that for too long. Anyway, okay. So anyway, let's continue on our adventure here, because why not put 8 of these characters up? I thought that was really cool. He didn't put a backstory, but let's see. He said his inspiration was Wacka, and let me see. Wacka from Paper Mario. Might be saying that wrong. And the let me see. So it was like Diglett from Pokemon, and also the Animal Crossing mole. Yep, that was what it was. Yep. That's what he said here in the chat. Whack-a-mole minigame. That was what somebody suggested after seeing that. And we have another post right after that from It's AJ, which was another GIF, which was awesome. So I had to, unfortunately, I could only show one frame of it, which was this character. Again, he animated the dwarf, and he put the little character here, and he showed different emotes from the character. Again, super awesome. So he titled this one Another Day, Another Contest Submission. Today we have Kevin. So the name of this purple eyeball creature was Kevin. He said Kevin can be found floating around the mines aimlessly, only awakening from his spectral form when something of interest is nearby, whether it's a treasure, a threat, or maybe a new friend. So it's almost like this character, this like little eyeball guy, right, would almost like appear to you only if you had treasure on you, or if you approach him in the right way. Hey Lenzo, how's it going? Hope uni's going well for you. I know it can be busy. Right now we're just reading out art competition stuff that some people submitted, and I wanted to kind of do like an appreciation stream for all that, for everybody who submitted their artwork for the art contest. And I wanted to announce that for everybody who got involved in the art contest, there was a hidden award that I kept secret, which was, I kind of want to get involved with every one of you, if you're willing, and actually, like, spend a bit of time with you, like, actually talk with you one-on-one, and, you know, maybe talk about putting something in the game, like putting your creature in the game, or getting involved in the project somehow. Not in the development team, but per se, but you know, like getting sort of a behind the scenes look at the game and how development works and all that, how our flow works. So I wanted to do something like that as like a special thank you to everyone who submitted art. Again, if you have time. But yeah, these were all made by the community. Everything I've shown so far, which was this Snowfly by Enheave, the stealth rock creature from Tinky, the mysterious jellyfish from It's AJ, Fairly's spirit creature, the Will-O-Wisp Cyandor, the Mole Man by Why Not, and Kevin by It's AJ. Yep. But yeah, that was a submission by It's AJ, and what I was getting from this was his creature here was like a way of finding ores in walls or finding nearby treasures. Like he's like a seer almost, like he'd see through walls and stuff. And he gave me a vibe that was kind of like a rare pet. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. If you wake Kevin and have nothing interesting for him, he'll give you disapproval and he'll go back to sleep. So make sure you keep Kevin happy. That was one of the things he said. So maybe it's like a you have to have treasure nearby. Kevin the Mystical Eye. Yep. Exactly. So we had that. I thought that was really cool. You made that in GIF form too, which was even cooler. We have another submission here by our friend of a friend. Let's see. This was Spaghetti Princess with the Mimic Girl, the one that he's been harassing us about for weeks now. The Mimic Girl, he wanted to see this added to the game. Now, he did not give a backstory. He did not give a backstory to the Mimic Girl. I'm assuming that he was just allowing us to create the backstory. But the Mimic Girl was meant to be sort of an anthro version of the Mimic, right? That was the vibe that was going on. Mimic Girl got me tripping, dude. But yeah, this was the Mimic Girl. He had a friend actually make the art for this, which I thought was really cool. To submit to the art competition. And it's like, I mean, you can already see by the design here what he was going for. You can see like this is the lid of the chest. It's got the lock here by its collar, right? Backpack. Sort of this lock strap design here. Dress. The Mimic Girl Shopkeeper. Yep, that was the one. So it was a shopkeeper that is both a girl and a mimic at the same time. I'm assuming the backstory would be that you would meet this in the caves, right? You'd meet the Mimic Girl like selling stuff in the caves. Very tasteful, Zombie, very tasteful. I'm assuming, I'm just reading, yes, mid-dungeon shopkeeper. Okay, yeah, I can see that. It's like a risky move kind of shopkeeper where It's pretty dangerous in the dungeons, but it would be like a place you could shop at in the meantime. It's like this. It's almost like the Terraria has something like this where there's like a skeleton shopkeeper, like a skeleton merchant that you can see that sometimes rarely spawns and has like some certain unique things that it sells. But you can only meet it in caves and stuff. Like you never see it. You'll never actually see it outside the caves. So yeah, I mean, we could probably experiment with something like that. It just makes sense. Um, I don't know how late in development we would try to do something like that, but I'm sure if you pressure us hard enough and you end up creating a Mimic Girl Shopkeeper cult in our Discord, we might perhaps create something like that in the game. That is my promise to you. That's what we will do. We had another art submission by our friend, the Petite Bullet, and he named this creature, and I'm sure he's still here, so he can give us some more backstory. But yeah, spam the meme Discord. Yep. So this was the submission by the Petite Bullet, if he's still here, and this was the friendly box. So I'm guessing this was sort of like a mimic type thing going on. So this was like an idea. Now I gotta zoom out. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry, I'm very sorry. This was sort of like a box mimic, right? And let's see. I'm gonna read the backstory here. You had quite a bit of story here. It was the box. One day in a chest is a box. So I'm assuming like the mimic or something. That would be kind of a cool thing. Like a rare drop from a mimic. Think about that one, right? So imagine if there was a mimic, right? And mimics only have like a 5% chance of spawning, right? But then imagine mimics themselves, so like only mimics, have a 5% chance of dropping a baby mimic as like a pet, right? And you get like one of these. In this box, there will be another box, but a second box is alive. Okay, so here talking about this box. So this is like the mimic. And he said the second box would come to the mines to see some stuff like the pet rock and other things. And one day the box sees something new, a dwarf trying to mine for ore. And the box likes stuff like ore and comes behind the dwarf and eats his hat, and the dwarf doesn't understand why the box is alive and eating his hat. But the dwarf gives some iron to the box. So you were like telling like a little bit of a story here on the Discord. You were giving some backstory to it. And you were saying like the box likes to eat items, right? Like a mimic. A mimic eats items. So maybe this could be like some sort of like pet mini mimic, like a little baby mimic, right? And you could feed it items, like you could feed it ore. What's bad or what's good? Because it's a box mimic. It doesn't want to kill you. Yep. So we could actually make it so like that would be interesting. Now imagine this, right? Imagine if the baby mimic, right, was like an extra inventory slot, and you could like safely put one item away inside the baby mimic, and if you die, the baby mimic comes back home, and gives that one item back to you, like that. Like it's an infinite, like it's a storage space that will always keep that item safe, whatever it is. That could be something. It could be like a rare pet that kind of does that. It's almost like the mimic in like Don't Starve or whatever, right? If you die, that the pet Chester, that's what it was called. The Chester will come back, right? And it'll have your items still. So the baby mimic could sort of have the same vibe going on, where if you die, you can get your items back that way. That could work. That could be something. Interesting. So there was one joke post by our friend Morty Schmorty, who posted this. It was this guy right here. It says hi, and the only thing I could really think of in response to this was this. I mean, Morty Schmorty, if you're watching, this is all I have to say in response. Moving on, we have another person on our Discord named @anyone posted a sort of a diamond creature, which I thought was kind of cool. Now, it's almost like one of the Reggies, right? If you ever played Pokemon, it gives me like a Reggie vibe. If you've ever seen the Reggies, it's like let me see, Regirock. It's giving me a Regirock vibe right here. Oops. Let's try that again real quick. It's giving me like a Regirock vibe, right? Like that. It's definitely giving me that vibe. So, let's see. Did he write any backstory for it? Not sure if he did. So, he said he drew this in MS Paint. And he didn't... Okay, so he wanted to do hands and feet for this. But he didn't get to that yet. He said easy by almost 1 pixel art. Let me see. Okay, so earlier he did post another one here. He posted 2 of these, but it seemed like he was not complete with it yet. However, it was a crystal golem. That's the one thing he said. He said it was a crystal golem, and that I actually I have some old pixel art that I could still show. Let me see if I can find it. I had something like this done already. So I could actually show this. Let me see. Where could it be? Oh, there it is. Yep, these are them. So I had a sort of like a gem thing, right, going on. And I'll show you what I did for it. I sort of had like a rotating animation for it. And what it would do is it would kind of like the idea was it would kind of rotate in place like this, right? Now this is a really old sprite I made. This was like 3 years ago almost. But I was going for like it's sort of like spinning in place sort of thing, right? That's what I was going for. And your art reminded me of that. My creation from like nearly 3 years ago. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. When I see this red crystal monster, I think Crystal Monster from... Oh, yep. Yep. That's exactly where I got the inspiration for this thing. From Nuclear Throne. Like that little floating crystal. Yep. Exactly. So this was I have a post from Tachyon. Which really reminded me of your cloud creature, Enheave. This was a post by Tachyon again, and they made it a GIF, which I thought was really impressive. They made it like a GIF where it was like kind of floating up and down, but it gave me that same vibe of sort of like, and he made it high res, which was nice. And it like floated up and down, right? And it gave me that same cloud vibe that Enheath had. That, the Snowfly, right? Flat Young Venus, yep. You got it. Does give me that Young Venus vibe. Gun God. Yep. I haven't played Gun God, but I like the music. I like the let's see, let's put God Gun theme up. This thing. Yeah. I love that music. The introduction. The vocals on this are kind of funny too. Guns that make breakfast. Gun that signs breasts. Guns that hate Texas. It's just ridiculous. And then he eventually made it to Nuclear Throne. Wonder if our Below the Stone Dwarf will ever make it to other franchises, to other games that we make. If he'll just be there, always. Maybe. So, let's see, we had another submission here. Let's see what we got here. So, this was another submission by Zombie Man, who's in our chat right now. Zombie Man submitted this, which it was near Halloween, so the creepy vibes were in full swing, and this really inspired me. This was this totally gave me the creepster vibes of Halloween, you know. So I'll read your text here. Introducing Hopkins, a little goblin creature based on the Hopkinsville Goblin, which I didn't know anything about, but I read about this, and this was weird. This whole story, the Hopkinsville Goblins, right, were almost like UFOs. Well, it's like an alien arrival UFO story, right? Hillbillies out in the middle of nowhere. Suddenly, little green men show up out of the woods with pointy ears and like crystal eyes, glowing eyes, and start raiding their home. And there's like 11 of them or something like that. There was like a dozen of them that attacked their home. And after they attacked their home, they left for the police station, right? And when they came to the police station, they actually like had medical, like I think they had like doctors or something like check their pulse, and their heartbeat was like twice the rate of a normal person. So something clearly scared them, unless they were just like running for like, I don't know, like half an hour or something like that before showing up to the station. So clearly something freaked them out. And when the police showed up to their home, there was like bullet holes in the house and everything. And they described these little creatures that they would shoot. And when they got shot, when they shot the little creatures, they would like float away. They would like, as if nothing happened, they would float away like air. And then get back on their feet and then like run away out in the woods. Which, again, really creepy. And I decided to like do a little bit of digging into the history of this. But anyway, back into reading more of your description here. With a little twist. So you did the Hopkinsville Goblin with a little twist, with swole arms and baby legs. The pixel art was a bit of a challenge to nail the big arms, tiny legs thing, and came out a bit baddish. which I saw in your pixel art here. Um, but the proof of concept is there. Me and my brother spent a good 2 to 4 hours on the whole rigmarole concept. Colors, shading, cleanup, and sprite junk. I'm pretty darn proud of it, how it came out. Yep, and it looks really cool. And we had a couple memes about it too. Petite Bullet even showed a Sableye that was photoshopped. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. And so, to commemorate Zombie Z-Man's artwork, he and his brothers work on the game on their little on their submission, right? I decided to make something based on what they made, and I came up with this so far. It's not animated yet, but I created this as sort of a proof of concept of what they made. This would be an enemy, probably. This would most likely be an enemy in the game. And I wanted to sort of commemorate their hard work in putting that together, since I know that, it looked like they put a lot of time into it. So, again, thank you guys for putting that together. That was awesome. And again, I just wanted to make this as like because you inspired me to make that. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I think that was the end of the list of everybody's submissions, but that doesn't have to be the end of the stream. I just wanted to thank everybody for posting that and posting their artwork. And again, I wanted to actually sort of have a one-on-one with everybody, not only on the stream, but maybe after the stream, maybe over the next couple days. Thank you guys for posting your art and maybe giving you guys some behind the scenes of what we do. I also wanted to hold a vote on Twitter for like the companion that might make it into the game, just to see what everybody thinks of all the companions so far. I think we have a couple favorites so far of these. I think we do have a couple that people really liked. So we might have a vote over this. We might have a democratic vote on which one makes it, which one will make it into the game. We might have a couple that make it into the game in the end, but I really liked what everybody posted, so I thought that was really cool. That was our first try at anything like that, doing like a public sort of competition or whatever. So yeah, again, thank you everyone. That was really cool. I'm making it sound like I'm ending the stream right away, but I'm not. I just wanted to talk about the art and everything. If you guys have any, kind of random, but if you guys have any questions about the game or anything, I'm able to answer them right now. I know there wasn't a QA section of the stream planned out or anything, but seems to be going in that direction. But yeah, I like talking about the art of Below the Stone. So having that is pretty cool. Unfortunately, I didn't have too much planned after talking about the art submissions. Just wanted to show everybody's art and kind of talk after that. Sort of, gauge everybody's view on the art and what they thought of the submissions. If we should try something like that again one day, perhaps. We had some really interesting submissions. Other Monster Girls, I don't have much to ask. Okay, so I don't play too many video games. I have one game I play, but I wouldn't recommend it too much. It's Dead by Daylight. I wouldn't recommend it very much. I play it almost like an arcade game at this point. Like I'll play a couple rounds of it and then just call it a day. Like I honestly don't play it very much. Neat game though, I'll say that. It's a neat game. Maybe your first couple times playing it, you'll get scared, but it's kind of like it's meant to be a scary game, but it's like over time it just doesn't get that. An existential question. Oh boy. What is the favorite food? Okay. The favorite food of a dwarf. That's a tough one. It's probably gonna be like it's probably gonna be a good ale. That's not food, but it's food for a dwarf. Dwarves also like, I guess your average dwarf is gonna like a salted pork or something, salted mammoth flanks, and if it's a like a vegetarian dwarf or like a vegan dwarf or something, like one of those those hippie dwarves, it's probably gonna be something like mushrooms, like a salted mushroom patty or something, you know? Instead of a mammoth burger, they're probably gonna have like a mushroom burger in place of it. I think the community contest thing was a great idea. The whole Below the Stone community has been awful cozy so far. Also, does Below the Stone have a name yet? Does the dwarf have a name yet? I'll answer the first. I'll talk about the first thing you said. I agree, and I really like how the community's going so far. I like the vibe we get right now. I like our community vibe. Community vibe is pretty chill. As for the dwarf name, honestly, right now he's just called Below the Stone Dwarf. It's like that's just the name. Maybe I'll call him like Gingerbeard or something. I don't know, or like Redbeard. Right now I just call him Below the Stone Dwarf. Speak about the lore of the game. Okay, there's certain lore that you guys will just never know, right? There's certain lore that I'll know, but you guys never know. That's just the nature of it. That's just the nature of the type of game Below the Stone is, because it's not very lore focused, and just like in real life, you're never gonna find the full story. But I'll tell you something that you don't know yet. There's more to kobolds than you already know. I'll say that there's certain creatures in Below the Stone that aren't just monsters. That there's something deeper to their what's the word? To their not their creation, but to their existence. And there are certain monsters in the game that have deeper existential reasons for existing. Kind of hope the game gets like a family tree like Rogue Legacy, where once you beat it, you see the dead characters. I thought about that, yeah. I did think about that. We have two ways of thinking about the game right now, and I sort of like the idea of leaving it vague, because then we don't have to commit to one. But one idea is that it's like a Rogue Legacy, like it's like a family tree, and so it could be that, or sorry, it's like my bedtime right now. Or it could be that your previous death is sort of ignored, and it's almost like it never happened. It's just, you know, we just kind of lose our items, and it's almost like an alternate timeline almost. Um, Whichever one it is, it only matters to the lore really, which again, Below the Stone is not like super lore intensive, but there is lore. I'll say that there is lore. It's not super lore intensive. Like the game doesn't gravitate around the lore. Um, However, um, yeah, that's one point of contention we have right now, whether or not we want the game to sort of Nuclear Throne did it where every run is different universe where the yeah, it's almost like that. Yeah, like that's our current sort of idea that it's either family tree or it's like separate universe where your character didn't die. It right now it we don't have like the details in the game. There's not like character dialogue or anything we have to worry about. Um, so once we start worrying about character dialogue, maybe we'll commit to one of those choices. Um, because otherwise it might not make sense if we make it like a family tree thing, and then they're always referring to you as the same person. So yeah, that's the one thing. Um, we might make it like a really vague, like your wealth is given to your like second cousin twice removed or something like that, and now it's their turn to carry the torch. It could be something like that where it's not like a direct bloodline kind of family. It's more of like um a sporadic family tree sort of thing. Um, but yeah, that's two little bits of lore there for you guys. That how the timeline of Below the Stone works, and also how um, not all the monsters down there are just monsters that are just randomly there to kill you. That there is lore to their creation. There is a reason for some of those creatures to be down there, and that some are more intelligent than you think they are. Um, there's a lot of lore that I haven't gone into. It's just right now it's not the main focus of the game, and as time goes on, that might change. Is there going to be a special limited physical edition of the game? We have to be really careful about making promises like that, because remember, when you make a promise like that, that's just out there in the world. We thought about doing stuff like this, about doing like a physical copy. However, with the way Steam works and the way Steam's, if we were to integrate some sort of like this is almost like a web of features, right? When you have like a conglomerate of all these different things going in all at once. So you have Steam, and your main platform is Steam, right? Meaning that most of your player base is using Steam, meaning that a lot of the what's it the gosh, I can't think right now. Let's say in theory you wanted to do multiplayer, right? And you use Steam's net code or net like their network to host multiplayer. If you had a physical release and you did not include a Steam key in that physical release, or if it was just like a disc or something, right? And there was no way for it to connect to Steam. That means that person who has that physical copy is now disconnected from the rest of the community. They're completely separated. that's the one thing you have to worry about when doing a physical copy. So now there's a lot of different logistical problems that happen because of that physical copy. Of course, you could say, oh, just make the price bigger and include goodies and stuff like that. But that's something that we'd have to look down at later down the line. However, we would be interested in that. That would be something really cool for us to just have on our shelves or whatever as like a memento of the, our creation. And I'm sure other people would enjoy that too, which I think would be really cool. Yeah. This Hopkinsville Goblin, dude, this really freaked me out. The whole story. I made I changed the color scheme. You can probably see that. I had a, let me see if I can open up Discord real quick. I had like a little art piece I made for it to show what it would look like in game. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. It would look something like that compared to the dwarf. Now I was thinking as he would walk too, as he'd walk on these two arms, he'd kind of like dangle his legs a little bit. I thought that would be pretty funny. And maybe his eyes glow in the dark. Give him sort of a menacing look. Thought that would be kind of cool. Thank you. It's my first time doing like an enemy that walks on its hands. That was interesting for me. He looks kind of like a balloon head, but and thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I thought your design was really cool. Gremlins. I was watching that the other day, actually. It's like one of my favorite Halloween movies now. Like, I didn't watch it as a kid, but now I'm an adult now, and I watched it. I thought that was really good. I'm surprised I didn't watch it earlier. There's a lot of symbolism behind gremlins and dwarves and stuff like that that people don't really realize. Like, like it's kind of interesting. I don't want to get into like this weird discussion right now because I could talk about this for a while. But there's like, your typical lawn gnomes, how they're always. This might start to make sense to a lot of you people when you start to think about it this way, but gnomes, right, are like always affiliated with mushrooms. Always. They're always affiliated with those red mushrooms with the white polka dots on it. What people don't realize is that's the magic mushroom. That's like the drug mushroom. And what people would say for hundreds of years is when they would take this mushroom, they would see gnomes. They would see little people telling them things that of like like advanced things that are beyond your understanding, right? And there was this idea that when you took those mushrooms, you were like entering this world, this other dimension that the gnomes were in, right? The Mario mushroom, yeah. So it's like when you see like those childhood stories, right, where you have like mushrooms with like little gnomes that live in the mushrooms, now you know why. It's because like 1,000 years ago, people were telling stories about little people coming out to play after they ate this red mushroom with white polka dots on it. And now in kids' stories, you open up the book and you see little gnomes living in red mushroom houses with white polka dots on it. Because that's just what's assumed. And that's actually where dwarves came from. That's like where the mythology of dwarves came from. That idea that of little people that lived underground, that lived right under our feet, that told us little secrets and lived in a world of of beyond our understanding. It is really weird. Like when I was told this, like when I was like when the I guess the threads were all tied together, it like all made sense. Like, you know, you always see those little bearded guys with the red caps, the little red dunce caps, living in mushrooms. And it's like, why do they live in mushrooms? Why are they always sitting on top of mushrooms? Why are they like, what's the deal with that? And now it kind of makes sense a little bit that there's this idea that when people would take these drugs back then, they would always have that imagery. They always had that sort of that imagery would appear to not just one person but multiple people, which is really weird. Like it's not just one person who had that idea that happened in their head, and then suddenly, you know, now everyone talks about it. That happened to multiple people. Whenever they took that mushroom or whatever, that imagery would pop up subsequently to multiple people. Just bizarre. It's weird. Why does that appear to so many people? But you know, that's kind of where dwarves come from. Dwarves are like those little bearded guys. Same thing with goblins and elves and stuff like that. It's like when you know, back when our ancestors had nothing else to do but sit around the campfire and, you know, take some mushrooms, that's what they did. Don't do drugs, kids. That's all I can say. Otherwise, you'll be making a video game about dwarves. But interesting little backstory to not just Below the Stone, but just dwarves in general. Dwarves and gnomes and goblins and stuff like that. It's the reason why the symbolism of, you know, gremlins. This idea of machine gremlins in World War II. Gremlins that would pull apart at machines and stuff. This idea that you weren't just fighting the enemy, you were fighting these gremlins who were pulling apart your plane or your Jeep or whatever. And they were always the one around the corner that you wouldn't see that was working, you know, against you. It's interesting. I like this. I like talking symbolism and stuff like that. Literature and how it applies to the real world. So I'm not completely a dunce when it comes to lore. So whenever I say like lore is not a main focus of Below the Stone, I'm saying that as somebody who likes lore too. So it's not like I'm not ever thinking about this stuff either. Yeah, that was the thing about it. Like the gremlins were always destroying machines, and they always symbolized it, evil things about people too. Like the gremlins in the movie would always emphasize some sort of human trait that was bad. So you'd always have that sort of message throughout the movie, I guess. Yeah, it does give me a Gremlins vibe now that I'm looking at it. Now that we're talking about Gremlins and stuff. Like the pointed ears, the long arms, the long muscly arms. That movie was good though. Seeing the animatronic puppets and whatnot. That was really cool. Call that practical effects. My brother and I decided to change the design of the original Hopkinsville Goblin to keep it more distinct from the Kobold, just to be safe. My brother had the idea of dangling legs. Yeah, I like that. Like it you guys kept it original too. You guys made it like its own original thing, which is really cool. Like you didn't just go with the typical let's just do a goblin. You saw the Hopskin. Oh God, that's so hard to say. The Hopkinsville Goblin. Hopkinsville Goblin. And then you adapted it into your own thing. You actually, kept it. You made it sort of its own creature, and that's what I liked the most about it. That it wasn't just a goblin. It was like its own sort of strange creature. That's what really inspired me when I was making it. Like I really liked that vibe I was getting from it. I gotta create more creatures like this that are bizarre and weird and things you've never seen before. Especially in the deeper layers. I want things to be like really, like I want it to kind of freak you out a little bit when you go deeper. Do hope we see some cool puppet animatronic design. Yeah, I think in the game thinking of that. Yeah. In the game, in our game, we could do something like that. I think we might have like some what do you call it? Like some like steampunky kind of clockworking gear kind of monsters. Not monsters, but like things that the dwarves make. Puppets are super hot. I mean, cool. Yeah. But unironically though, I do think that the dwarves work in clockwork. They work in gears and plugs, and their minds work in this they work like tinkerers. They're like that's how I look at them in I guess the lore of Below the Stone. I think dwarves are one of the most advanced races on this planet in Below the Stone, because their minds just work differently than the other races. They work like tinkerers. They're constantly improving their ways. So they've adapted very fast compared to all the other races that are still using bows and crossbows and stuff. Meanwhile, out in the harsh cold, the dwarves are working in this mountain, making guns and stuff. Like, they're just way beyond everyone else right now. I almost think of them like the Dwemer in Skyrim. They're just so far advanced from everyone that they don't even... it's like they're untouchable, almost. However, the dwarves are risk takers, too. They have to keep up this lifestyle, and that's when, you play as a dwarf who plays in that risky, you play that character of the risk taker of the dwarves, to continue your society to advancing. I think a lot of cryptids would fit in Below the Stone, honestly. Yeah, I was actually looking at cryptids when you showed me the Hopkinsville Goblin. I started like doing like a huge cryptid search. I was actually starving for it after a while. I need to I kept looking for more and more and more. And the thing was, I knew about cryptids before this, so I knew about a lot of them. But that was the problem, since I knew about so many, and learning the Hopkinsville Goblin out of nowhere, it was like, wow, I need to find out about more of these guys. And I already knew them all, I know a lot of them. I was thinking about the Flatwoods Monster, even, as like an interesting cryptid to work with. Like this style of robot. Oh yeah, something that gives me like a very puppet vibe. I was almost thinking like visible gears too on it, like having little gears that like pop out of it in its back and stuff. Maybe like a little what do you call those? The little twist key that sort of winds them up. I thought that would be kind of cool. I thought maybe making an Ahul from a design contest. Let me see. An Ahul. Oh, like a bat. It's like a. It's almost like a bat wolf almost. I mean, we almost have something like that. We have the bat hounds, but this is like almost like a bat ape wolf almost. But yeah, I mean, we had a lot of the dwarf lore kind of thought out. It's just that, you know, I feel like a lot of this stuff is going to be in the background, you know? It's like, it's not going to be like majorly explained to everyone. It's not like this thing that we have to like baby you through, and like you have to know everything to play the game. Like, I don't want it to be like that. That's the thing. I want you to be able to play the game and just know what's going on, and you don't have to know everything beforehand. That's the main problem with it. Like, I don't want to get so deep into the lore that you have to go on like a lore hunt to like understand everything. But I want it so people who love lore can like get into that lore. Hello, Max Train. We're talking about game lore now. Yeah, it's this careful balancing move that you got to do, where you don't want your lore to overcome the game, and you have to explain it to everyone who wants to play. But at the same time, I want it to be something that people can really enjoy. That's my main point of contention right now. That it's just, and I think so far our lore sort of fits that sort of vibe. That it's not too crazy, where somebody picks up the game and has no idea what's going on. But at the same time, people can get into it. Like, they can actually understand it and get really deep into the lore. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking about, like, literally just for people who like lore, I was thinking it would be cool to add like a monster encyclopedia or something, where depending on, now you guys can tell me this if you like this idea or not, but maybe on your first encounter with a creature, whether you run from it or fight it, it will give you like a piece of its lore, right? Like, you would open up a book and it would open up to a page, and it would give you some lore behind the creature. But after encountering, like, I don't know, 10 of them, it'll add some lore to it. And if you encounter 100 of them, it'll like fill out the entire encyclopedia on their creature. So depending on how many of these creatures you encountered, depending on how many monsters you encountered, it will, of a specific monster, it'll fill out more of their encyclopedia. So I thought that could be interesting. That could sort of be a thing. Prinny 2 had monsters rarely drop secret files that unlock information about them. That could be cool. Yeah, I mean, having it be an item like a page or something, or something specific that you can bring back home would be interesting. Because now those like items have actually like a value attached to them that's not just the item itself. It's actually like worth bringing back to fill in the encyclopedia. Yeah, I think I don't know how deep I want to get into describing every creature, but um, I did want to make it like a nice like page or two long in game, of course. Yeah, I was thinking that maybe on the first encounter you would get like the first bit of information, like basic info. Um, but if you kill like 10 of them, it'll fill out more of their lore, and if you kill like 100 of them, it'll like completely fill in their lore or whatever. And then maybe, like Spaghetti said, there could be like a rare item or something that they drop that fills in another blank um, of their info, which it could be cool. Like I said, certain creatures in Below the Stone have a lore that goes way past them just being stupid monster creatures that run at you or whatever. Um, how deep you guys will find out about that depends on how we tell it in the game. We might say it, we might not. There might be some of you who are like, why won't you say it? I think sometimes some details just don't need to be said, but some details could be said, and I'm sure we'll we'll let the story tell itself. We'll let you guys find out about it. Secret file, like Risk of Rain secret file monster. Yep. It's always great to know any characters slash enemies in game are not so blank and characterless. Yeah, I think we have some things planned out. Like the goblins, their race is more complex than just bad green people. Like there's a reason they hate dwarves. Like they're the one thing that you'll find out is goblins really hate dwarves. They are known for scalping dwarf beards in the caves. They'll collect dwarf beards as like a trophy. So clearly the goblins have enough hatred of dwarves to you know warrant some sort of lore, some sort of backstory. So there's some reason behind that. So again, you guys will have to find it out in the game. Why the goblins hate the dwarves so much? What's the whole deal with the kobolds? What's there's all these little things here and there that you might not think about at first. You might just think, at face value, you just go, oh, bad green people, they're trying to fight me, so let's fight them. You might see kobolds and you might think, oh, these are just like stupid little golem creatures, but there might be a little bit more behind them than just stupid little goblin creature or little golem creatures. Goblin King wears a fancy dwarven beard robe. I like that. That's interesting. Has a dwarf beard carpet. Goblins hate dwarves because goblins and dwarves like gold, and dwarves have all the gold. Maybe. Maybe it goes even deeper than that. Maybe there's even religious reasons why they hate the dwarves. Could be greed. Could be any of these things. far as you guys know, all you know is that dwarves or the goblins hate dwarves, and dwarves hate goblins. It just goes both ways. Cutting beard hair reminds me of the Last Samurai movie topic. To honor then, like cutting a samurai's hair. Yeah, it's something like that. That's sort of what I get from it too. They scalp a dwarf. Here's the thing, right? A dwarf is very proud of their beard. Like, dwarves are very proud about their facial hair. So the symbolism of a goblin scalping that beard off is more than just, I'm collecting my trophy. It's more of like an insult too at the same time. So you're on the right track with that. You're honestly like dead on target with that idea. That's exactly what our line of thinking was behind that bit of lore. Yeah, it's the big brain time part of the stream. Yep, it's like cutting twin tails. Yeah, something like that. No, dwarf girls do not have beards. They don't have beards. It's the dwarf men that have beards currently in their models. So I guess for the dwarf women, I guess they get the twin tails cut off, and the men get their beards cut off. I guess that's how it works out. Something like that. I think maybe I give off the wrong message when I say, when I'm talking with people and I say, oh, the lore isn't like the main focus of the game. I think that might give people the wrong impression that we don't care about the lore or something, because we do. And I'm somebody who really likes lore in a game. And I'm somebody who really loves writing stories and stuff like that. But I just don't want that to be like a main, qualm of the game. I don't want that to be I don't want that to be the thing that seems like it's at the center of the game. It's more of like a spice on something that's already good. That's sort of what I want it to be. Arcanium of Steamworks and Magic Obscura are pretty neat lore with dwarves and how they interact with other races. I'll have to look into that. I've never seen that. I'll have to look into the lore of that game, because I've never really... I mean, you're almost the first person I'm hearing the game from. By the way, guys, I'm gonna wrap up the stream very soon, so I just want to give like a quick warning of that happening. I don't wanna dip on you guys super quick or anything. Mole man jump scare. Oh my god. I'm gonna upload that. I'm gonna put that on our Discord. Why not? It's pretty neat. Troubled rush development because Diablo 2 was published 6 months ahead of schedule. Ending it is dumb, but the setting is great. Yeah, I have to look into it. Like, maybe I'll watch like a playthrough while I'm working on the game and stuff. The dwarf from below the stone is more pop. I'm reading our Discord now from like 2 hours ago. The dwarf from below the stone is more popular than Rick from Rick and Morty. When will the vote for the Archon? Okay, so I'm gonna try to set that up tomorrow on Twitter. I'm going to post a couple of the submissions, and then I'll have you guys vote on it, on which one you like. Again, this will be on Twitter, so make sure you keep your eye out. On our Discord, I'm going to @ everyone, and I'm going to put it in our news feed probably. So in the news feed tomorrow on Twitter, you'll be able to vote on which submissions you think deserve to be a pet, or which ones you think deserve to be in the game. Mimic girls. Oh my god. Baldur's Gate 2, Throne of Baal in my childhood. Dude, you know what a great game is? SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. GBA. Now that was an epic game. That was freaking epic, dude. Oh, you can't get on your Twitter? I think you can vote. I don't think you have to have a Twitter account to vote. Do you have to have a Twitter account to vote? I think it allows anonymous users to vote. So I think you can vote. For GPA. I was joking, by the way. That game's terrible. The SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, GBA. It's probably one of the worst SpongeBob games ever. But the console version was awesome. Like, for a licensed game, it was really good. You could tell whoever made it, like the people making it, were like actually fans of the show, and that's who you want making a game, really. When people are actually fans of it making it. Oh boy. I think I'm gonna wrap up the stream right now, guys, because it's past that time at this point. It's past it. I want to thank everyone for showing up and chatting it up with me. If anybody has any questions or anything, hit the general chat on Below the Stone, and I'll probably talk with everyone who submitted their art too, because that was really nice that we got that competition set up, and you know, everybody submitting and really getting involved with the community. I know it's, you know, we're still a pretty tight-knit small community right now, so you know, it's nice to be able to, you know, actually talk with you guys one-on-one and stuff. It's really cool. While we still can and whatnot, like, you know, it might not always be this way. So, again, yep. Goodbye, Petite. Goodbye, Zombie. Good night. Good night, everyone. Again, I'll hit you guys up on the general chat on our Discord. Links provided below if you're not part of our Discord or our Twitter. Follow, join us. And I'll catch you next time. Good night, sweet princes. Good night.